Julian had always been an incredibly curious child. I'd always wanted to know why, wanted to know how things worked, and I actually encouraged that as a child. If he would ask why something would work, rather than say, this is how it works, I would ask him, how do you think it works? And then we would, even as a little kid, explore theories at his age level about how something would work. And he was very turned on by all that. I also read him a lot of books. From the time he was a baby, he was read books every day, from fairy tales, Greek legends, and the adventure heroic classics, Tarzan, for example, where good was triumphing over evil and there was heroic adventures. And the justice part of it was not through any form of ideology. It was just about through empathy and fairness in everyday life. We wouldn't walk past somebody who was lying in the street, for example. If there was someone lying in the street, whether they were drunk or whether they were in a drug overdose or whether they were sick, we would stop and would ask them if they're all right. And Julian continued that. We're in a situation where we were helping some people involved in a justice situation, and Julian was right in their boots and all, defending people. I don't want to go into it, but it was to do with the court system. But also, you know that when he was a young teenager, he was very interested in computers. And so I bought him a computer, and he went exploring on it, and later on he joined up with some other young people. And as there's not a lot available in terms of challenging and adventuring in the suburbs, although we live just outside the city in the hills, it's sort of still a suburb, these young, very bright friends of his were challenging themselves on computers, and one of the ways they were doing it was to what they call look-see hack, which was they'd break in, they'd look at things, they wouldn't damage anything, just look in and then let people know, look, your system's insecure, we're just letting you know this. Now, during the process of doing that, I remember during the Gulf War that he got in and had a look, and he told me, he said, there's stuff going on here that's not right. There are people doing things that are not right here. And we're not being told about it. It's not coming out in the media that way. And I think that also galvanised him into his concept of WikiLeaks, which was basically a concept around really good media. And that is that the media hold the governments and corporations through investigative truth responsible to the people. He came from a creative background. My husband and I were involved in the theatre. So all that was the background that enabled him to look at, to sort of explore justice and why and power to change. Then he wanted to know how the world works. He wanted to be a physicist because he wanted to know how the world worked. He wanted to get to the bottom of it. And he went to University of Physics, and he was disappointed that most of the job opportunities were involved in working for the US government, in developing weapons, etc., surveillance. He wasn't very happy with that. And then the next thing I remember, he said, we were having a discussion about what would make the change in the world. We're talking about some of the ills of the world, and I asked him, what do you think would lead to a change? And he said, I think that there's only two possibilities for change. One is a cataclysmic event that would knock some sense into people because they have to re-look at their environment. Or the other one was technology. And I think WikiLeaks was the result of the technology that he saw would change the world. And he's always been a refined person. He's never been a crude person. He's been an honest person, and he's been an empathetic person, and he's always been very bright. So the morphing manifest to where he is on the world stage doesn't surprise you, but of course in another way it does. And I'm in awe of him as well, not in any kind of demigod way, but just as a human being with such resilience and courage, standing so strong in the truth.